Hello and welcome to Pisces Moon Astrology. I'm your astrologer, Kate Leonard, and I'm excited to explore the stars with you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the week of January 11th through January 17th. And as you can probably tell, we're back to the regular weekly forecast. I'm going to be getting back to the usual of choosing some of the biggest, or what I see as the biggest aspects coming up for us and giving you some ideas about how to deal with those, navigate those. And this week it's pretty good. So it'll be more like enjoy them, right? I'm going to talk about two things this week. I want to talk about starting the week with the Mars cazimi, which is squaring Chiron. That is a very big deal and has a lot to do with healing and renewal. And then I am going to talk about Venus sextiling Saturn and trining Uranus on January 15th. This is very cool. I think you're going to like this one, right? If you like the Venus stuff, these are some good aspects. Before I get into all of this, I just want to say again, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. You guys all mean a lot to me. You may not believe that. I know that sounds like that thing people always say, but I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. You guys are special to me, and getting to talk to you every week and hearing feedback from some of you, it really it matters to me, and I want you to know that. I also want you to know, just because it's my birthday week. So, yeah, let's make this a good episode. Share it far and wide. That will be your birthday present to me, and I will be ever so grateful. All right, let's start because I want to talk about these two energies. You know, I usually focus in mostly on one, but this time these two things are really big. Now, there's a whole lot of other stuff going on that I'm not going to be talking about, so let me just give you a quickie on that stuff. On January 14th, Mercury is going to oppose Jupiter. This is good. I mean, even though it's in opposition, we've got the greater benefic involved. But watch out for getting too enthusiastic about things, right? Like going way over the top on some stuff. You might get inspired ideas and all kinds of, big thinking. But watch out for just being a little bit over the top. So if you need to take action on something, maybe slow it down just a little bit, think it through, because you might need to scale back just a teensy weensy bit. On the 17th, Venus is going to sextile Neptune. Now, this is just after the thing we're going to be talking about in more detail, the sextile to Saturn. Touching base with Saturn is going to make Venus serious. And we're going to talk about what that means, but think serious love, money, art, beauty, you name it, right? All the Venus stuff. When she hits Neptune, we may find that we get a little bit dreamy about it, right? So we're going to go through this serious thing with Venus, and then the more spiritual side of it might come in. Be careful for just a minute when that happens that you don't put the rose-colored glasses on. Make sure that you're just bringing soul into the picture, but not wearing rose-colored glasses. Also on the 17th, the sun is going to be taking Venus's place and forming that sextile to Saturn and the trine to Uranus. This is energy that really helps us work hard in a way that allows us to show up in the world as our true, authentic selves, right? How do we want to put our effort, Saturn, into being seen, the sun, as uniquely who we are, Uranus? We've got Mercury on the 17th, also on the 17th, forming a conjunction with Mars. So get ready to argue. That's what that one's going to be, right? You're going to be pissed. I don't know. I mean, all the other ones are pretty good. I'm sorry. Anyway, hate to blow the week with that one, but you're probably going to be getting into some arguments. Now, let's get into the deep dive. All right. So, like I said, we start the week with the Mars cazimi. This is Mars in conjunction with the sun. That is a super empowered thing. I talked about cazimis in the last episode, but we think of it as like the planet being in the heart of the sun. What's old and worn out gets burnt away, what we don't need anymore. So think about the Mars things, the anger, the stuff you've been putting a lot of defensive energy into, that warrior spirit, but warrior to causes that maybe aren't your right now causes. Maybe this is kind of old stuff. You've been taking defensive postures or even aggressive postures, but the cause is gone, like it's like let it go. And then Mars gets renewed. It's like the sun is like the cosmic battery charger. So all the old stuff goes away, but in its place, Mars is getting charged up and ready to come out so that we can initiate new things and champion new causes and just, be all of the good that Mars is, but in the present tense instead of, like holding on to old stuff, right? Cazimis are always good. They're always renewing. Now, what's interesting about this one is it is making a square to Chiron, the wounded healer. And Chiron is over in Aries. So what is that all about? Where Chiron is, trauma is. So think old traumas, childhood traumas, the old pains and hurts wherever they've come from. And in Aries, think about how old trauma has held you back from really speaking your voice, being yourself, showing up for yourself in the world authentically. A lot of us have old childhood tapes that say, don't be too much, don't be too loud, don't talk like that, don't use those words, whatever they are. It's not all about talking either. Maybe those are just my issues, but don't act like that. Don't appear in public like that. Whatever it is, don't love like that. Look and see where Aries is in your chart. Okay, that's going to tell you a lot about where trauma is maybe impacting, or with Chiron transiting there, we might be seeing how trauma has affected in a negative way our individuality. Okay, so this cazimi is making a square. Now, a square is a tense angle. This is not necessarily going to be fun, but it's happening while Mars is being renewed. So I think this is going to give us energy to really let go. Mars severs things, it cuts things away, right? I mean, he literally rules things like amputation and surgery and stuff like that. I mean, literal severing. Think about cutting away like it's a tumor, right? Like our old trauma, some aspect of it, some old trauma that we're holding on, that's holding us back from being authentically who we are. Like Mars is coming in with that scalpel and it's like it's cutting the tumor of that trauma out of our bodies. I know that's really graphic and kind of gross, but you know what I'm saying? It's really like that. And during a cazimi, I mean, this is very karmic. This is very big. What are you ready to just say, you know what? I have been carrying that old stuff around long enough. I don't want to hurt anymore because of that. I'm not going to let those tapes keep holding me down, holding me back, chaining me to some value system or way of showing up that's not authentically me. I'm ready to just say, no, no more. You don't get to, whoever hurt me back that caused this trauma, right? You don't get to have any more of my life. It's that kind of week. Now, do I think this is going to happen in one fell swoop and poof, we're cured? And now we're all authentic and all of that? No, first, remember, it's a square. There's going to be some grappling with this. I don't think as much so, given that it's happening during a cazimi, but it may take a little bit. You know what I mean? Also, remember, cosmic energy isn't just a 1 minute thing. Even something like an eclipse, which is very contained, the energy lasts. So I think we're going to be dealing with this until Mars becomes visible again. I think we're going to really see this play out over the next probably couple of months, but it's big, it's profound, it's deep, and we come out, think of that Mars warrior being the champion for our new commitment to ourselves, our new dedication to being who we are. Look at Capricorn, that's where the cazimi's happening, and Aries in your chart, and see how this applies to you. Okay? So all that makes sense, because I got to move on to Venus, because I know y'all want to hear about Venus, right? So remember, Venus went through her cazimi and a conjunction with Mars last week. So she's already renewed. Now, she's not out from under the beams of the sun yet, so she's still invisible. Nevertheless, this is the renewed Venus. She's in Capricorn. She's making a sextile to Saturn. This is so good. But remember, a sextile is an angle of opportunity. It is not going to grab you by the left ear and yank you through the doorway like you're mom grabbing a child. That's only in old movies, right? Like that didn't even happen in my day. Or at least not to me. Thanks, Mom. Anywho, the sextile is not going to force itself on you. It will just give you the opportunity to take advantage of this dialogue between Venus and Saturn. And what is that dialogue? Serious energy into Venus things. What are Venus things? Love, put a ring on it. For goodness sakes, it is time. Let's get serious. Now, do I think everybody's going to the jewelry store that day? Oh, God, I hope not. I've been married so many times. I do not need another one of those. No, any Venus thing, right? But are some people firming up, making more serious, taking to the next level their love relationships? Oh, yeah. This is exactly that. You might be putting a ring on it, okay? For others, remember, Venus rules all kinds of relationships. So, deepening of friendship, whatever, work relationships, even coming to a new level of respect with your boss, mutual respect kind of thing. Venus rules money, luxury, beauty. Is this affecting your first house in any way? Or the ruler of your first house? You may be getting really, really serious about a major glow up or something like that. Okay, so think about all the Venus things, and Saturn just makes them serious, right? You're willing to put in the work. And I mean, Venus is in Saturn's sign of Capricorn. So we are willing to put in the effort and the work and get very real about everything Venus. And oh my gosh, how awesome is that? But that's not all. I mean, that would be good enough. I think, no, it wouldn't, because you guys know I love Uranus. I know, a lot of people don't. I really do. Uranus is the rebel. Uranus is the follow your own path. Think out of the box. March to your own beat. What other metaphors can I use? Help me, help me. Are you all yelling them out right now? I know you're driving down the street listening to me going, break the chains that bind you. Yeah, that one. Thanks for reminding me. Anyway, that's Uranus. Be authentic. Okay, is this sounding like an echo now to what I already talked about? Do you see why I chose these two different energies to talk about this week? We've got the Mars cazimi talking to Chiron in Aries, and has a lot to do with healing so that we can be authentic. Now we've got Venus sextiling Saturn sextiling Uranus making a trine to Venus. It's a minor triangle is what it is. You've heard of the grand trine. This is the minor trine, okay? So we've got Uranus in the mix. So we're getting serious about being who we are. See the theme? Oh my gosh, I love this so much. But who we are in love, who we are with our money and how we make our money, who we are, you writers, creators, artists out there, listen to me. You are going to be working hard and getting serious about really presenting your creativity. That's Venus in a unique, in an authentic, in a totally real kind of way. For you guys, all the artists out there, and I mean creative in any kind of way, right? People who just live creatively. This is a time when you're going to get that authenticity, that sort of break the bonds of, art expectations, genre expectations. Oh, everybody shows up on Instagram or TikTok like this, but my images, videos, words, whatever it's going to be, they're going to be me. And you know what? Go to heck if you don't like it. And I promise you, Saturn's going to give you the ability to work hard at it, though, right? So I don't mean you're going to just throw together some junk. That's not authentically who we are, right? I don't mean we're going to be rebellious just to like go egg some metaphorical houses. They're metaphorical eggs too, right? But you get what I'm saying. I mean, show up not caring about the conventions, the expectations, all of that stuff to express what we really want to express. So I'm talking to creatives, yes, but I'm talking also to people who just live creatively. Also, how you make your money. I think this is going to get a lot of people during this time. We've got, like I said, Venus just came from a conjunction with both Mars and the Sun. I think that there are going to be some people launching some new stuff. I think there are going to be some people launching new, like creative projects. I think there are going to be people with new love, new other kinds of relationships, but also Capricorn and Saturn are involved. So people deciding, like, I wanted to start that side hustle, but I just didn't feel like I really could. We got Mars is initiation. It's cazimi this week, right? We're going to have that new initiation energy that Mars brings. I think some side hustles are getting started, all kinds of new Venus kinds of things that are unique. Hard work is going to pay off. We're going to be serious. We're going to be dedicated to it. And I think, yeah, I think it's a big giant wow. That's what I think. All right. Again, you want to look at where this stuff is showing up in your chart. This minor trine that I'm talking about, Venus in Capricorn, Saturn in Pisces, and Uranus in Taurus. Okay. This could also, I don't think this is how it's going to hit most people, but there could be some real spiritual renewal as well. Just because Pisces is in the mix. I honestly don't think that's going to be the biggest thing, but you may find that you're using language like, I'm working on getting my new TikTok, whatever the heck it is, up and running. And I really feel like my soul is in this. You see that kind of language where it's not actually necessarily, quote, spiritual, but it will have that sense of having heart and soul. I like it a whole lot. And remember, just like I said about the Mars cazimi energy, that this is going to be unfolding for a while. We're really going to see some of this stuff, how all of this plays out a whole lot more when Mars and Venus become visible again, when they're born again in the sky on the other side of the sun. They're both going to be born as evening stars. So that's always interesting. So yeah, just expect this to be unfolding for a while. if nothing, gigantic actually happens this week, pay attention to the subtle little inklings, urges, that little whispering. Pay attention to your dreams, maybe journal, because often when planets aren't visible, it's really almost like it's percolating subconsciously. It's percolating in your heart, in your spirit, somewhere in those other realms, right? And then when the planets are reborn, then you're like, whoa, here's what's going on. I'm doing this thing. I'm moving forward. But they're invisible. They're not gone. We just can't see them. So that's when listen to your inner voices about things like healing trauma, about what you want to initiate, about all things Venus. Listen to the inner voices. Listen to your intuition. Do journaling. Keep a dream journal by your bed if you're that kind of a person, because the information's there, but it may come to you in more subtle ways until the planets are visible, right? So give it some time, give it some space, trust the universe. And I think this is the beginning of some really good, really important stuff. And hey, who doesn't want healing and art and love and romance and money? Yeah, I want all of those things. Anyway, that's all I've got. I hope that's all helpful. I'm glad to be back on our normal weekly content. And until next week, go out and seize the energies of the stars. This is my wish for you always, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.